think I'm so happy because I've had this shirt since I was 15. What do you think?
Well, this is a good one. First of all, it's black, a minimal number of colors. It's not something what you will not wear when you will be 40. So
Okay.
you can wear it till the end. And when it will be, by the way, I will have a suggestion for you. When it will be already like, you will feel like you don't want to wear it anymore. Make it into pillow.
Okay.
Keep it. Keep it. Show your kids that it was your favorite t-shirt and it lasted so long. Recycling is a big thing right now in the fashion world.
Okay, so excuse me for a moment. I'm going to start speaking Portuguese for just a few minutes, okay?
Sure.
Bom, gente, muito obrigado por terem vindo de novo. Desculpa aí pelos problemas técnicos que a gente teve na quarta, mas só que a Dr. Zina voltou aqui hoje para falar com a gente e dar essa aula para a gente. Eu sei que vocês estão todos super animados, então não vou ficar ocupando muito tempo de vocês, só vou lembrar, segue a gente no Insta, no YouTube. Dr. Zina, if you'd like to begin.
Yeah, so guys, today we into very interesting journey through the time. We will look at 3 different things. The first one, I will introduce you to the brief history of fashion illustration, because to become a fashion, mogul, the fashion designer, you certainly need to be an artist. You need to know how to draw. You need to know where all these fashion ideas come, where it started. The second one, I will show you something interesting from my own collection. I will not tell you what it is yet. And number 3, for the part number 3, you will need to have the sketch pad or just a simple piece of paper. Doesn't matter what the paper is. You will need to have the pencil and you need to have the eraser because we will draw and sometimes you do the wrong line, so you can go with your eraser. Unfortunately, the videos I had a problem with computer, so video doesn't work, but I prepared everything so I can teach you from scratch. So let's start with our brief history of illustration. And I will share this little and be ready to answer my questions. I really want to hear your answers.
So, Dr. Zina, quick question. Do you want us to interrupt you with our answers or just write it down on the chat?
Interrupt me. It will be easier in the past.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our brief history of illustration. And we'll start it by the famous saying by very famous fashion icon, Coco Chanel. And she said, the fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky. Fashion is in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, the way we live, what is happening. And do you think this is right? Do you think the fashion is not what people wearing? Why she would say the fashion is in the sky and in the street? What does it mean?
I believe that fashion is like a mirror of our society, like at the moment.
That's demand. Absolutely. This is demand from society. Somebody saw something on another person and boom, we have the fashion, new item in fashion. This is absolutely, so sometimes the fashion born on the street. It was time when you cannot imagine to wearing, let's say, silky blouse with jeans. It was no, it's just a cotton goes with linen and that's it. It should be t-shirt. And suddenly somebody, probably some model, decide to combine these simple jeans with very luxurious blouse. And here we have the new fashion style. So let's see where it's all begin. And this is what we have. At the beginning, the fashion illustration begin in what century? Can you guess what century it was? When the fashion illustration, look on the right, probably you can guess it right. I'm talking about drawing for fashion, because before people draw a lot of images from Roman times where we can see the clothes. But the fashion illustration is a specific time when the artists start drawing on demand. They start drawing those pieces so other people can look at them and make them into the fabric creations. So can you guess which century it was?
14th.
Not that early. Let's see the right answer. 16th century. And can you tell me, please, what happened in the world? What
Renaissance.
it's no, it's not. It's something happened between the people. People start doing something, and they are, because of this, they start seeing what other was wearing, and they start picking up those pieces and bringing them home. What starts there around the world? People start
Discovery.
doing more.
The age of discovery.
Nope. So people start doing what more?
Traveling.
Yes, absolutely, travel. And because they travel, they came to the unusual places and they look at other people and say, oh my God, those Chinese silk dresses, amazing. Why don't I bring back one? And the person bring this scarf or dress, and everybody like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Please bring next time more for us. Absolutely. So this is what we have, the costume from Germany, one of the first drawings. Why do we know this is the first drawing for fashion? Because we can see the face and we can see just a piece of clothing, not a person. So it probably was done for this guy. Between 1520 and 1610, more than 200 collections on different types of engravings, what engraves and etchings. It when you take the piece of metal and you take the very sharp piece of other metal and you scratch it. And after this, those scratches, actually you take the plate, this metal plate, and you cover it with, let's say, the candle wax. And after this, you scratch it. So you scratch in the picture. After this, you take this piece, put this in the acid, and where you have those little scratches, the acid will eat inside of the metal and create these little tiny caverns, little tiny lines. When you wash this candle wax off, you have the beautiful etching. It's called etching. And after this, you make an engravings. How? You take this plate with those little caverns on the top, which represents the beautiful picture. You cover it with the color, with the paint, and you put on the top of the paint piece of the paper, and you've got yourself a beautiful engraving. And people sometimes using this symbol. Metal certainly was very expensive, so they used cuts from the wood. They get the piece of wood and they carve it, and after this they can get the print. And by the way, by this time already 200 different collections representing the clothes, and those collections was so rare that they actually were usually owned by very, very rich people. And those rich people can lend it to somebody to create piece of clothes. And by the way, those collection includes the different examples of clothes from different nationalities, from different countries. How people know what Chinese people wear or Russians wear? By looking at those engravings. And also you can see the clothes in those engravings, clothes for the poor people and clothes for the rich. So 17th century artists, the most prominent artists, both start using the Jacques Collin and Abraham Boss. So both of them start using engraving technique to produce the realistic details of the clothes and costumes. Right now, I have a question for you. What do you see on the man's hat?
A feather?
Absolutely. How do you know it's feather? This is just the lines on a piece of paper. How do you know? This is feather.
Well, I just tried guessing. At first, I thought it was his hair, but it wouldn't make sense.
Very good. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. They were so perfecting so much this drawing skills. What we can really see that boots are made out of leather, and on his hat we have the feather. Absolutely, the ostrich feather. Why ostrich? Because it's big. Yes, and we can see the tiny pieces of this feather. The passion plate in 19th century. Passion plate was called the series of color work, passion drawings under Napoleon I. And those were engraved by very famous passion illustrator, George Jacques Gattin. And those passion plates were extremely expensive because they were done in color. And France's position as arbiter of the fashion ensures that constantly people want to have those illustrations done by French painters because they know France is the place where everybody's so fashionable. So my question is, what is the difference right now? Look at this picture. Remember the picture I showed you before. What is the difference between 17th century and 19th century fashion illustrations? Can you see the difference?
Have colors.
Yes, absolutely. Can you imagine? Yes, it's color, because can you imagine the drawing, but you don't know what the color is this. And afterwards you go into your seamstress and she does this ugly color and you think like, oh my God, what is it? It looks so beautiful in the paper and it's so ugly. Why? Because we don't know how the colors are coordinated. And it's very important part of the design to know coordinations between the colors. So couture fashion emerges in 1860. What does it mean, couture? Do you know this word, what couture means?
If I'm not mistaken, couture means cut.
Nope. So couture, it's made by a specific person. It's like high-end clothes, which are just and like very, very fashionable at the tip of the fashion world. And it's made for very rich people because they don't want to wear what we wear. They want to wear something exceptional. So couture means a kind of exceptional clothes for exceptional people. So it was the new, yes?
I have a question. Weren't there a haute couture block in France or something like that?
Yes,
Where
absolutely. But it was a little bit later. That's right. So this was the way for how the couturier knew what to sew. So they were trying to get the artist, which has the imagination, and they asked those artists to draw different designs. And after this, couturier tried the different types of fabric. By the way, very often on the live model. So they just draped the person. Actually, very famous designer who supplied the clothes to the Nicholas II and his family. Her name was Lamanova. This is her last name. They called her Madame Lamanova. So this Madame Lamanova never ever used the grafting, her clothes, cutting, pattern. She never did it. She usually take the piece of fabric, wrap it around the person, use the little pins, pin it properly, and with her scissors cut. And after the sew it very fast with the special very fast stitches, give it to her personal seamstress, and seamstress would work on this one and doing proper stitching, and everything would be exactly fitting this very, very, highly placed in society lady. So this is what's happened here. So how can you tell me, please, how those, you can see here, this is a print. Yes, it was done like before. It was etching on the metal usually, everything printed, but how they get the color? How this picture get the color?
Teacher, I'm not pretty sure, but like in Brazil, we had this wood that Portugal took from us that was red, and they use it on fabric. And here we call pau-brasil,
Uh-huh.
and maybe it's like that. I don't know.
You know what? But I'm asking the different thing. This is absolutely right. So all colors came usually from natural things. Yes, but by 1860, it was already a lot of different colors produced kind of by chemists. By the time, not only because the natural colors are not that, not too many varieties of them. So it's chemists becomes like a science of 19th century, at the beginning of end of the 18th century and beginning of 19th century. It was bloom for science. And of course, the chemists got the new task to produce the new beautiful colors for fashion. By the way, I will show you very interesting thing later. So, but how they did those color prints? You can understand the black print would be like done like this. You have this wood with etching, and after this, you put the color on the top and you print it. But look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. How did they get them there? Everything was done by hand. So everything was done by hand. Can you imagine how many illustrations and color people wanted to have in their home? So the artist was very profitable work. At the time, you can get a lot of orders just for black and white illustrations to be colored, to present exactly the colors what will go into the sewing. Look at the girl on the left. Can you tell me, please, can you guess the fabric her skirt and the top made of? What is her skirt made of?
I don't know about the skirt, but the top looks like velvet.
Absolutely, and the skirt probably silk, heavy silk. Very good. How you can guess just by looking at the picture that it's velvet? Don't you think it's amazing? For people who lived back then at the beginning of 19th century, it was like a miracle to see what kind of fabric just by looking at the colors on the flat paper. So by the end of 19th century, the hand-colored prints were replaced by full color prints. You can see them. And by the way, they are beautiful because they're so accurate. You can see exactly the elements of those dresses. You can see exactly what kind of the fabric was incorporated there. Can you tell me, please, why do you see at least two figures in each illustration? Why at least right now, they not, when they do the illustrations, they do 2 figures on the illustration. Why? Can you guess why? They can show the dress in why on one person. Why they need 2 figures in the illustration? I will give you a little tip. Look at the poses of those people.
To show different angles and proportions of the dress?
Absolutely. So when I'm looking from the front, dress looks like one way. When I'm looking at the back, it's completely different. So to see, because you remember, those illustrations were not just the pictures to flip through. They were the real ideas that people who can sew actually incorporated, because you cannot come to the store and buy a dress. Most of the times it was very simple for poor people. If you want something what nobody has, you go get yourself a fabric, you bring the picture to your seamstress, and she will look at the picture and recreate it. As she better at her skill, the better the dress will look like. So everybody would like to go to her. So one usually was the person seen from the front, Very good. You guessed right. And another one from the back or the side. So the costumes could be seen from the different angles, making it easy to copy. And finally, we're progressing to the fashion magazines and illustrations of the 20th century. And the early decades of the 20th century saw first flowering of fashion illustration in the modern sense. Why? Because we switched to the printing. The color printing was invented, and right now we can actually multiply the copies and give it to everybody who are willing to pay those pennies for the colored copies. The magazines, the fashion magazines come to life, and you can see the beautiful new models. By the way, most often the magazines for the ladies at the time were like books. They were telling the little stories from the life of the people far away. And they were teaching you how to cook, and they were teaching you how to sew. They tell you the news from the world. And some pages were dedicated to the fashion. So the business of drawing becomes a vacation. Vacation, it's another name for profession. So fashion, formerly the work of individual artists, was becoming an industry. So unfortunately, the video is not available, but it's not bad because, just give me a second, I will stop share because I have something to share with you. So let me, I hope you will see, oh my gosh, this is everything distorted, but I hope you will see something from my very personal collection. So this is one of the oldest books. I will try to show you the little tab here on the top is saying 1877. This is an example of what lady will ask to buy for her. And I will show you how those first illustrations look like. Look at this. When I open, again, remember what I told you, by this time, this is of the and this is different models of the hats. How the ladies get those hats made? They bring the fabric, they bring the magazine to their seamstress, and seamstress will actually made it. You know what was interesting? I told you those books usually are the books which have a lot of stories. If you will go inside, you will see the different stories, poems, and recipes. But at the beginning of this very unique book, I found something. And by the way, the artists and designers, it's not necessarily they doing only design for the clothes. Right now, they, oh, thank you. So I have so much, guys, I love them. So this is what I can see at the beginning of the book. I can see this little insert. Can you guess what it is? This is also sample something. Can you guess what is the sample? What is this? Nope. It's made out of paper. Sample of what? We don't use it really right now in the houses, but before it was in a big fashion. Right now we're just painting our walls. What was on the walls before?
Wallpaper.
Oh, absolutely. So, and you know what I'm holding right now? Actually, I need to wash my hands after this because I'm holding right now in my hands the reason of numerous deaths at the beginning of 19th century. This beautiful paper, I don't know if you can see the color or not, but I have the piece here already in protected plastic. So this piece of beautiful, at the time, it looks like it was very beautiful wallpaper. Everybody loved it. You know why? Because you can see two different amazing emerald colors, like green of two different shades. And before this time, green was not usual paint because you cannot get stable paint from the plants. There is no green. You can get the yellow, you can get the red, like you told me, but not the green. And suddenly somebody came up with a great idea to make this beautiful green. And actually they start using this green on fabric too. But this is the problem. This color was made artificially and includes something called copper arsenide. And arsenic, this is actually the poison. Where do we put the most beautiful wallpaper? In the children's room. And so many children died because they were touching, they were leaking this paper, and the fumes from the paper, because we didn't have a conditioners back then, actually was infiltrated into room, and people become sick, and nobody for a long time could guess. By the way, this was banned in Europe in around 1850, but can you imagine, actually in England, till 1877, it still was printed and it still was getting into the houses of people. So the next thing I want to show you, another magazine, and this magazine from 1895. And this is American one, and it's called The Delineator. So Delineator, again, lots of stories, but at the same time, fashion illustrations. And I will show you how those fashion illustrations look like at the end of the century. Look at this beautiful lady. So in this amazing blouse, and this is another one. And everything, you see the little description on the side, everything was explaining in words where to cut, and how to stitch together, and what kind of fabric were used. Oh, the next one is my favorite one. Ooh, 1902. And I have a question for you. I don't know if you see it, but I will show you right now two images. Look at the first image, like on the top.
Excuse me, Dr. Zina, I think you must be holding the magazine up to your microphone. We're having trouble hearing you.
Oh, sorry. So again, I will show you right now those illustrations. I want you to look at the illustration, this middle row. Okay, just look closely. I will show you. And right now, I will show you illustration. This one, the lady with the rose. You catch the difference? Difference. What exactly happened at this time in 1902 that completely changed the world of illustration? Can you guess what's happened?
Photographs?
Photographs, absolutely. And you know what? The few first ones were the photographs. But unfortunately, it was very hard to take the picture of details during the photographing. So the last one, which has the lady with the roses, it was the drawing. So the person combined the photographs and after this draw the image to show the little details. And this is how they actually saved on because at the time to make the photograph, even for this magazine, which is actually published like thousands, still was very, very expensive. And this is the last one. By 1919, what happened to the illustrations?
Teacher, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
By 1919, what happened to the illustrations? Can you see? What was the difference?
Yeah, Dr. Zina, every time you hold up a magazine, I think you must be blocking your microphone.
Sorry. Okay, so I will hold the magazine first, and after this, I will ask a question. So look at the picture. So, okay, can you tell me, please, what's happened? What was happening in the world of illustration at the beginning of the 20th century? everything was printed in color. So right now it's a new era of printing in color. So guys, right now it's a time for us to get to perfecting your own skills of drawing. Okay, so what we will do, we will draw this simple sketch for the passion illustration. I want you to open the empty piece. And the first, on the top of paper, draw by hand. You see the circle on the top of the, so draw the circle. It will represent the head, but we're not finished yet. Extend your head to show a little chin. Okay, good. So this is our head is ready. Right now you can erase the piece of circle, which is going down, and you will get just a regular head for your. You will have this irregular oval. Okay, so the next step would be the following. I want you to, from where was you?
Teacher, you're blocking your microphone.
I'm so sorry, guys. It's hard to give me a second. I probably will try another one, which I can use to speak. Let's see if it will work with this computer. I'm sorry, I was not able to pass anything, but let's see if this one will work for me. So you will hear me better. I don't know if it will work. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yes.
Okay, good. Finally. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. So this time it will be great. So what I want you to do, I want you to draw the little curve from here and somewhere down here. So like a little curve. It will be our torso. Like this. 1/3 from the head down, you see approximately 1/3, you draw the horizontal line. It will be your shoulders. After this, just by one stroke, you will draw those two legs. Boom and boom. So you will have the picture which look like this. Okay. The next step, we will do the following. We will add the details. So look at this one. The first, from the head to the shoulders, draw the smooth lines, those lines. This will be where our neck connected with the shoulders. At the bottom of this line you draw, put like a little mark. You can see the mark here. I made it more visible, but you don't need to go that hard with your pencil. Okay. Right now, remember those two lines, what we draw. I will make them more noticeable so you will see where I add the elements. Just a minute. Those two lines, me and you draw before. Remember those two lines, you can see them clearly. Yes. So what you will do right now, this is your waist. So what I'm doing right now, let me see if I can draw like this. So I'm drawing the body curves. So I'm drawing the body curve. And hips. And this is the little trick. When you draw the hips, you're going up to the knees. I will make it more visible for you. Look at this one. Can you see the line? It goes up to the internal line, which we draw at the beginning. So this is your muscle. This is your hip muscle, the big muscle we all have on the leg. Draw exactly the same shape with the waist on another side. This is how it will look like.
Okay.
Okay, so next is, look at this, we have the piece of leg left, yes? So I will make it more visible again, and I will show you where to draw. What I will do, I will add another big muscle for my leg, and I will go here, it's almost like goes to the tip. So I'll show you in a minute. Of course, you have to draw very lightly with your pencil, so you will be able to erase this later. So, but this is what you have. You should have the better proportions because on the screen everything distorted, but I think you should see it clear. Do exactly the same on another hand, on another leg, sorry. The another leg looks a little bit better than this one. You will see how the curve is supposed to go. You see, it should be very narrow at the bottom. Right now, draw the little kind of like semicircles at the, pretend like you put them socks. You put their socks.
For a minute, because I'm pretty sure I draw the last part wrong.
Ah, don't worry. We will repeat it again. Don't worry. The second time is always gets better. And the same little circle around the second leg, make it like it's a little sock. Look like a little sock. And right now we add the view of the shoes from the front. Like a little bags. It looks like a little bags, but they will represent the legs. Okay, so right now we will go and draw the shoulders. So we need to go with the shoulders. And how we will do it, I will do on this one first, and after this I will show you. So you draw the lines on this side and on this side. I will show you in a minute. So from the shoulder down, just 2 lines like we did for the legs. They have to finish approximately at the middle of the hip, somewhere here. And again, our hands have also 2 muscles, the muscle here and muscle on forehand. So this part and this part, we will do exactly the same as we did before. I'll show you right now. Those 2 pieces. This is what you have first. And we will finish the hand by adding the second part and the palm. Need to make mine a little bit shorter. As you will practice, you will get better with proportions, I promise you. So the second part have to be added like this. Just a second, I will show you. I will show you guys. Just a minute. I'm drawing at the same time as you, so I will show you. Okay. So you need to add this one. And of course, if you will learn how to do it, you can, by starting with those stick figure, you can continue to work. So this is what you would have. This is what you should have. And we will add right now collarbones here and the breasts if it's a girl. So we will do like this to show the shape of the body. Collarbones here and this one. Okay. And we will erase everything which we don't need to see. I will show you how to clean this paper to see only what we want to see. And voila, you have your first fashion drawing of the figure. And right now we can dress the lady by adding the elements. I will show you what I will do. This girl will have a dress. So I'm starting by drawing the top and the ruffle. Yeah. Ruffled, sleeve on the inside. And I add another ruffled sleeve on another side. I will clean it and add the folds. So first I will clean it like this. And after this, I will add the folds and I will show you how to do the folds. You're starting with the big ones. Very few of them, not too many. And after this, you add the little details. I will show you what it is, just with your pencil. The smallest one around, which will show more like a flow to your sleeve. It adds fullness to your sleeve. And we continue with the dress because this is a dress. Our girl has the beautiful dress. And we will make those folds. You see how I curve them like they like waves. So I'm going like with the waves here. Here, take a look. You see like a wave going up and after this down a little bit, up and down. I will show you more. It's in detail, so you will see the how to draw this. Okay, just a second. So I made more. I should not draw that dark, but I will show you what will happen. Right now, take a look. Show this is the fabric there. So you see I connected with the little lines here. So we can see this is the fabric folding. And from the tip of those, each of those waves, I am working up. I clean the space again. So I erase everything. And I'm doing those folds. By shading, you can add more texture to your drawing. I'll show you in a minute what it can be. I'm making everything darker when it's supposed to be on the drawing, on the illustration, but it's purposely because I want you to see the details, because it's hard to see it if it's not there. By adding those little details, you create this, you create the texture. So, and this is, you have yourself a dress, and we will finish by drawing the face, whatever you want. It should be very simple face. Like a drawing of the face should not take too much skills. You can simply draw something like this. Add a little bit of light touch to her hair. And you have yourself your first fashion drawing. Of course, you can change the hands later just by put them in this position. Let me change. I will show you another type of the clothes we can use. Let's say this girl will have the shorts instead of the dress. So we can have the shorts instead of the dress. And this is all your creativity, guys. So what do you think? Your first drawing, is it successful?
It's hideous.
I know, but
I'm
we
not
need
going to
to work on
survive
the
as a
proportions.
fashion artist.
Yes, you need to work on the proportions. So certainly. So try again. You know, the trial and errors, this is basic for everything.
Yeah, true.
My drawing came out looking a little bit masculine, so I decided he was going to be making a fashion statement. What do you think?
Good. Excellent. This is good. For the first time, bravo. Excellent.
So
So,
who else
guys,
wants to open the camera and show Dr. Zina what we did?
yes, please share. I would love
Dragon,
to see.
come on. It's your time to shine. Come on, anybody?
Very shy. Good, guys. You tried it. Perfect. So remember
demon.
proportions.
It's a demon.
Proportions are very important. Proportions are very, very important. Yes. The fashion ladies have the long legs. Yes. And next time you can put legs properly. Yes. We can put them one on the side, one is straight. Like try different, start with those sticks and try to very good. Guys, good. Try to draw also a person from the back. So see if you can get the back. Remember, on the back we have butts, so our buttocks, so we need to do it more. Very good. For the first one, perfect. Congratulations, you passed the first test for fashion industry. You know how to draw the fashion doll. Thank you, guys. It was pleasure meeting you here.
Dr. Zina, thank you very much. I think everybody is also very, very happy about this class. Guys,
Thank you.
Anything to say?
Yes, I loved it. Thank you so much.
Good. And you know what? It's interesting that the next step would be to learn about the colors. You need to learn about elements and principles of design, because without understanding the colors, without understanding the line, how the perspective is formed, how the body has the proportions, you will not be advancing. And draw more. Real artist, real person who wants to go into design, all this have to have the sketch and a pencil. Every time you see a person standing, draw the person standing. Yes, questions. I love it. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
When it comes to designing a piece or accessory, would you say that comfort comes before style?
No, I don't think so.
Not really.
You know what? We noticed a lot of time that I can give you an example. Yes. If you will go to any nightclub and stay just on the side and look at the girls who is going there, yes, and check their shoes, do you think they can actually dance in those shoes?
Not really, no.
There we are. So very often we choosing, this is have to be the purpose with idea. Yes, if I'm going to dance club and I'm not really planning to dance, and I will sit folding my legs like this nicely and leaning at the back, I can wear any shoes. Yes, they have to be a statement, because this is what we do. When I'm going to work, I need to have the very comfortable shoes. That is why almost impossible, or it's very expensive, starting from 500 American dollars. You have the shoes which combine the comfort and the style. So you choose. If you have a lot of money, then, well, you have the chance to get yourself this beautiful combination, the style and comfort. But unfortunately, the style goes, that is why I was talking at the beginning about this fast fashion. Did you notice how very fast the fashion is changing? Why? Because people do not demand quality. Majority just want to look fashionable, not to keep the pieces of clothes in our closet. And you know, the problem is with this. Every American through the year put in the garbage 78 kilos of the old clothes. Multiplied by nation, and we have piles of garbage. Why? Because the fashion industry is not paying attention to quality, and we as the users not buying the quality stuff. We want to be in the stream, and the stream not always very good.
Okay. Большое спасибо.
Oh, wonderful. Большое, пожалуйста. Anybody else have the questions?
Sometimes I make these dresses, and I don't think that in real life they would stick together. Like I make those things like in the shoulder, or
you know what you can simply do. This is what I advise you to do as the next step. When you perfect in drawing figures, start making something like dolls. So they have to be paper dolls. Yeah, to see how this garment look on the figure, you can draw the figure, and after this you draw the outfit separately. I will show you what I mean. Those fashion dolls, you know, those fashion dolls usually have I will show you like a piece. You also draw it certainly from on the piece of paper. After this you cut it and you put it on the doll, but you have to remember it should have something so this clothes can be holding on this paper doll. I will show you something. You see, this is like you draw the dress separately, and to make it stick to the doll, you extend a little bit shoulders. So when you cut, you will fold them like this. Just give me a second. You will fold them, let's say like this, and it will be stay on the shoulders of your doll. And try those elements to make them three-dimensional, to see how they will look. It's very good when you practicing for future profession to progress from two-dimensional, which is paper, to three-dimensional. Also, if you're creating the clothes, get the pieces of fabric, stick them beside your work. So we will look at the piece, even if it's done in color. We want to look at the piece of fabric and imagine how it will look in the real outfit. What would be, do those colors, do those fabrics are matching? Teach yourself.
So, Dr. Zina, I'm sorry, but we've run out of time. So we're going to have to end right now. But once again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me here.
Everybody in the chat on Wednesday was super happy and super willing to come here tonight because they were just happy.
Thank you very much. I was very happy to see you guys. You know what? When the teacher sees the young person who is so excited about something, this is the best what we can see in life. Because look around yourself. How many people really have the real passion? Not too many. You're a lucky one. You were born with this sense of passion. Cherish it, develop it, and good luck to you in life. Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Zina. It was an amazing class. And that book, oh my God, that book is a treasure.
I know. Love them. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Thank you so much, Professor Zina. Now we're going to do a draw with the students, because the students that participate in the mock class, they get prizes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zina. Então, pessoal, a gente vai fazer o sorteio agora.
Vai.
Que, como prometido, todo mês tem sorteio. A doutora Lara prometeu para vocês um bloquinho para quem ficou na aula de quarta. Então, quem ficou na aula de quarta vai ter o bloquinho. E vai ter um vencedor que vai ganhar um pouquinho de coisa a mais.
Além
que
do bloquinho.
eu tenho aqui. Peraí, antes de sortear, deixa eu mostrar. A gente tem um ring de celular, que isso daqui é a melhor coisa da vida.
Eu tô usando o meu.
Quem não gosta do ring, pode usar também um porta-cartão. Esse porta-cartão é da Santiago Canyon College, que eles mandaram pra gente, que eu amo esse porta-cartão também. Vai ganhar caneta, vai ganhar kit Efígie, que vem o caderno, que vem o bloquinho, que vem a caneta, que vem um monte de coisa. Mas o porta-crachá da Santiago também, que eu acho a coisa mais linda, esse azul aqui. Para quem usa crachá, gente, vocês não têm crachá na escola, essas coisas?
Eles não estão indo para a escola, né, Melka?
Mas vai voltar. Não vai ficar para sempre em casa. Daqui a pouco já tá todo mundo indo para a escola de novo. Então vamos abrir os nomes? Cadê o Fábio, gente?
Ah, e lembrando, todo mundo que está aqui hoje, vocês receberam mensagem minha, vocês já me encaminharam o endereço e CEP para receber tudo. Se alguém não recebeu, eu estou copiando de novo o meu celular aqui no chat, pode mandar mensagem. Então, estamos lá. Bom, então vamos nessa. Fábio, pode ir.
Vai. Ó, gente, peraí, antes de sortear, Fábio, peraí. Esse mês nós pegamos quem participou das 3 aulas do mês, tá? E por isso que a listinha tá um pouquinho, foi 3. Das 3 aulas do mês, por isso que a listinha tá um pouquinho mais curta. Quem participou de 3 vai ter prêmio. Vai, Fábio. Cadê? Quem que é essa pessoa que a gente não consegue ler?
A Yasmin, tá aí?
Tá aí?
Eu tô aqui.
Ah, Yasmin, você tá aí, arrasou. Já pode mandar mensagem pro Alex também, no celular dele que tá aqui.
Já recebi o endereço de todo mundo, então a gente pode ficar de boas. Mas, gente, parabéns e, de novo, muito obrigado por ter vindo.
Ai, gente, deixa eu mostrar um segredo para vocês.
Ai, meu Deus. Foi você que fez, Mel?
It's horrible. Nem mostrei pra teacher, de vergonha.
Não, o meu desenho virou um Batman, você tem noção disso, né?
Não dá pra ver nada. Você fez o Batman?
Sim, porque ele estava muito masculino. Eu falei, não pode ser uma mulher, né?
Elka, eu por algum motivo achei que seria uma boa ideia desenhar um demônio no Natal. Aí foi isso que eu fiz.
Mas olha aí, ficou bem melhor. Ficou muito melhor que o meu.
Nossa, não tem condição. Eu achei que seria
Pelo menos
legal.
você tem cintura, porque tu tem, coitada.
Horrível. Um nível assim.
O Alex,
Mas ficou ótimo. Ficou
Não,
muito melhor.
Não, o Alex, como sempre, mais louco que o Batman, né? Não tem jeito.
Mais louco que o Batman.
Mas, ó, você vai aprender treinando a não desistir e continuar. Você sabe que tem aquela história lá que demora... Delta pode me corrigir se eu estiver enganado. 3.500 horas para você aperfeiçoar um talento, não é? Tem um negócio assim.
É tudo isso?
Eu sei que é assim para você virar super hipermaster, mas só que, sim.
Bom, gente, antes só da gente ir, vou passar um recadinho para vocês, tá? Esse mês agora de julho, como é férias fora do Brasil, tem muito teacher de férias, mas a gente ainda vai ter mock. Então, a gente vai entrar já na trilha de Engenharia, Tecnologia e Inovação. Então, já vai ter mock também deixa eu ver aqui a data para vocês, no dia 7 e depois dia 15. Mas o Fábio vai postar no Instagram também toda a agenda, tudo certinho para vocês, tá bom?
Não é legal quando outra pessoa está pedindo para você no Instagram?
Quê?
Não é legal quando outra pessoa vai e pede para vocês seguirem no Instagram e não eu?
Tem que seguir, gente.
Okay,
bom, vamos sextar, né, gente? Sextou, todo mundo vai descansar. E fiquem todos quentinhos, porque tá muito frio. E espero que vocês tenham gostado da aula, porque, gente, ela não conseguiu entrar na quarta, mas foi uma aula muito legal da professora Zina, né? Então, que bom que vocês gostaram. E vai ter mais mês que vem, tem que participar de todos. Um beijo, bom final de semana, people.
Obrigado.
Tchau, tchau.
Obrigada para vocês também.
Juízo, hein?
Tchau.
Tchau.